Going live. Pushing it through. All right, it says we're live, but we're not live to everyone yet. So I'm going to push that over. It's still loading on the internet. Done redirecting.
So it's like a private thing for your peeps, right? So it's actually not on public YouTube.
Exactly. Yeah. So we have a just monthly membership site and yeah. And so they come in once a month, 2 hours, and then we do support throughout the month as well with them.
Very cool. So,
yeah, it's been growing. We're pretty excited. All right, let's give this to Mel. Boom. Okay, so Mel's got the link and people are popping on. I'm going to set the timer real quick. Super fired up if you're joining us. I'm going to set this timer and get this thing going. All right, Inner Circle, welcome to our monthly live call. I am fired up today because we have the one, the only Pat Flynn with us today. And I am super excited to introduce him to you, to give you a little backstory about who he is and how he is here to serve us today. But Inner Circle, if you're just tuning in, I want to know where you're watching from and how long you've been with us here inside of the Inner Circle family. You know, we have built this community for you. We really heard you and we knew that you wanted ongoing support from the Think Media team. And so we are here today, not only just we as in me, but we as in Pat Flynn is here. Pat, how you doing today?
I'm doing awesome. I'm stoked to be here in the Inner Circle. Thank you for the invite. And I'm here to deliver.
Yes, as you always do. So I am, like I said, fired up to hear what we're learning about today. But let me give you guys a little backstory about my friend Pat Flynn here. He is a father of 2, right, Pat? Father of 2.
Right.
How old?
Yeah.
How old?
9 and 7. It's kind of insane because they're like little adults now, it seems.
Yeah, it is. It is fun when they get to that age. Husband, how long you been married, Pat?
10 years.
Amazing. Congratulations. Yeah. That's great. And an entrepreneur, you live in San Diego. Pat actually owns several successful online businesses and is a professional blogger, keynote speaker, Wall Street Journal bestselling author, and the host of the Smart Passive Income and the Ask Pat podcast. Man, you have a busy life happening right now, Pat.
There's a lot of things. Plus, a lot of your community knows that me and my partner invented something recently for the video community, the Switch Pod, and that's another new business that started recently. We're doing a lot of things.
Yes, really excited. You've been featured in publications like the New York Times and Forbes. You're also an advisor on some really great companies like ConvertKit, Lead Pages, Teachable, and others in the digital marketing world. So I am fired up. And today you are coming at us with all about superfans, right? We're going to be learning all about superfans. So
that's right.
Let me know in the chat, Inner Circle, are you fired up today as well to be learning from the Pat Flynn all about superfans? And Pat, before we get started, you recently just released a book about this, right?
I did. Yeah. So it's called Superfans, actually, as you can see right here. And as you can see on the top here, it says followers, subscribers, customers, all crossed out. Because it's not about that. It's about building super fans. And I'll tell you why that's important, what can happen when you build super fans, and actually how that can grow your business more than just focusing on the sort of top level stuff that most of us focus on, especially as YouTubers.
Yeah. And I think this content that we're about to dive into with Pat is so critical, inner circle. So I want you to be leaning in. I want you to get your notebooks ready, get those pens ready. We're going to walk away with some income producing activities that we can start to put in place, not just to impact our business, but really the reason that we're here, right, Pat, is to impact other people. And so one of the things that I love about what Pat teaches and what he's about to jump into is actually about getting the right people in your tribe and just going so deep with them. So Pat, I'm going to send it right over to you, and then we're going to jump into Q&A after that.
Okay, sounds good. And just to test really quick, making sure everybody's good to go. All right.
Yes, I love the sounds. I'm
not going to abuse that. I promise that. I'm not going to abuse that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen here, and we will get right into it. And actually, to start, I wanted to test you really quick. So for those of you who are listening in, listen closely, because I'm going to turn the volume up. I'm going to play a song for you. And if you know the name of the band or group or artist who had created this song, I would love for you to sort of just leave a comment below and let me know. Here we go. Can y'all hear that?
Yep, we can hear it. I know what it is.
Okay. I'm going to stop it because we don't need to listen to the whole thing. Anybody guess this group right here, the Backstreet Boys? Yes?
Yep, we've got some Backstreet Boys typed in the chat. Yep, Backstreet Boys. Yep.
Okay, good. Because everybody who said Backstreet Boys, you and my wife would be like best friends right now, because my wife is a huge super fan of the Backstreet Boys, or as she likes to call them, her boys. These are her boys, especially this guy right here, Nick Carter. This is the tall, blonde, fair-skinned man right there. By the way, look at me. I am dark-skinned, short, and I have black hair. This is my competition, by the way. I'm just letting you know. I've always known she's had this love for this band, even when we met in high school, actually. We didn't date in high school. We dated a little bit later. But even though I'm an NSYNC fan, we still got together. And when I was doing research with business and helping people with building their online empires, I started to come across this pattern. With very successful businesses, they all had their own set of super fans too. And I started to think about my own journey, because I also have super fans as well, even outside of what most people know me for now, Smart Passive Income. My first fan was a fan of the fact that I was helping her pass an exam in the architecture space, which is the world I came from before I got laid off and let go. And then my first business was helping people pass that exam. It's called the LEAD exam. And I had fans for that too. And it was kind of ridiculous. So one day, my wife and I were sitting down at dinner, and we had our usual conversations. But then I asked her, because I was doing research about superfans, because I was just so interested in it. I was like, hey, baby, how did you become a fan of the Backstreet Boys? And what I thought was going to be just a 3 or 4 minute conversation actually ended up taking 2.5 hours. And I learned every single thing that happened from the moment that she discovered this band all the way through to now getting VIP access and meeting them in person and shaking their hand and giving them hugs, and thankfully coming back home, because this is, again, my competition. But I started to realize that the patterns that she had leading up to really falling in love with this band are the same that a lot of us have when it comes to building our businesses and our brands. It's a lot of the same techniques and we all think that, oh, you have to be an artist or a musician or this celebrity to have fans. But the truth is, you can have fans with whatever it is that you teach. And again, I was in the driest industry in the world, teaching people an architecture exam, and I still had fans of my own. So I'm here to teach you about fans today. But what was really interesting was at the end of the night, she showed me something that kind of blew me away. And I'm going to play this video for you. I'm going to walk you through it. I'm not going to have you have to listen in. But let me just give you the play-by-play. So my wife tells me that she has something to show me in the closet, which is like the last thing you want to hear when you just talk to somebody about the Backstreet Boys for hours, right? And so I'm like, okay, what is this? Open this box. I'd never seen this before. Okay. There he is. Mr. Nick Carter, like in this box, right? It's the most ridiculous thing. This is her calendar, and there's my dog. And I knew that this was going to be important, so I captured it on video. And just concert programs, things like that. And you might have a similar box of things in your house of something that you love, right? And these are Backstreet Boy action figures, by the way, which I didn't even know exists. And when you have super fans, or when you are a super fan of something, you have like the most ridiculous things about that thing. So for people on the outside like me, it's like, this is ridiculous. Like, why would you collect dolls of the Backstreet Boys? But to people who are Backstreet Boy fans, right, they're like, oh my gosh, those are amazing. This is the coolest thing. And there's this picture of the boys with no pants for some reason. I don't know why. And then look at there in the box, a framed picture of Nick Carter. I didn't know this thing existed, by the way. And then I ask her like, hey, where's my frame picture? And this is what she says. You can read it. So again, to the outside, it's ridiculous. But for people who are also fans of the Backstreet Boys, they get it, right? They have this culture. They have this identity. They have this language. And I can't hate on her too much because I'm also a fan of something, and that is Back to the Future. I'm a huge fan of Back to the Future. And again, this is just a fraction of my collection here. So the comment, but I'm sure that you are a fan of something kind of ridiculous to people on the outside. But what are you a fan of? I'd love for you to comment and just kind of share with everybody in the inner circle what it is you're a fan of, because we can all relate, right? We can all relate to just loving something so much. But amazing things happen when you build for the super fan, right? And this is something, you know, I've been able to gain fans of my own as a result of building my own online business. And through my YouTube channel, through podcasting, I've had people like this guy, Ernesto, who sent me this piece of artwork. I don't know if you saw the zoom up there, but this is string on beeswax, some ancient Mexican art form. And this person spent 3.5 weeks creating this because he was a fan of my work and what I've done for him in business. So it just kind of blew me away. It kind of seems kind of outlandish. When you have fans, you get emails like this from people. This guy, Jeffrey, says, hey, Pat, I heard you're publishing a new book next year. I want to buy 20 copies for my friends and family. I don't care what it's about. I just want to support you. I just need to know when it's coming out. Kind of ridiculous, right? Now, I also have a podcast that comes out every Thursday, every Wednesday. And I've been late before, which you don't want to do if you're trying to remain consistent, right? But when you build for superfans, they get upset at you when you're late, just like Steven did. This was an email I got after I was late with publishing a podcast episode. Hey, Pat, where the blank is episode 112? I'll let you fill in the blank yourself. But the funny part about this was the last part of his email that said, thanks, love your stuff, Steve. Right? You just have these ridiculous people who come to build a habit of consuming your content and understanding what you have to offer them. I am at the point now where I can just tweet that I'm going to be somewhere and I have people show up like these. This is just crazy. I have people who share me with their families. This is a church group in the lower left-hand corner who created a whole curriculum around the work that I do and the books that I've published as well. It's kind of crazy. And with fans, you can mobilize them to do other things that you never even dreamed of. I built a couple schools in Ghana, Africa, and it was only because of the fans that I built who helped me raise money to create this campaign. And just, again, so many amazing things can happen when you build for fans. But I want to teach you how to do this too, because even though you might be in an industry that might seem like, well, there's no real personal connections there, I promise you there are ways for you to build fans and have people spread the love. So I want to introduce to you the pyramid of fandom here. And this is why I teach my book, Superfans. I'm just giving it to you. And if you imagine this pyramid is your entire user base, people who know about you, or who eventually find you. The largest group is at the bottom here. This is your casual audience. These are the people who find you through a random search on YouTube or a search on Google, or they just hear about you someplace and they go and try to find the answers that you have available on your platform. The largest part of your audience, and they don't necessarily know who you are yet. They haven't really become a fan yet, not even close. But this is where we often introduce people from search engines or links on other websites, etc. Our job is to move people up from casual audience to an engaged audience or the active audience. This is your subscriber. This is a person who follows you on social media or they're on your email list, right? These are the people who are engaged now. They know what you have to offer. When you come out with a new video or when you come out with a product, for example, they know who you are and they're like, oh yeah, I like Sean, and I understand the value that he has. Let me see if this thing is relevant for me, right? They know who you are. They're subscribed. Then we have to move them up into the connected community. And this is where magic begins to happen in our brand. This is where people come together. This is where they form an identity. For example, Heather, let me quiz you really quick. Do you know what fans of Star Trek call themselves?
Yeah, Trekkies, is that right?
Trekkies. Yes, that's absolutely right, right? Yep. Like you can kind of identify with other people in your community when you are a part of something like that and you just get involved, right? Fans of Taylor Swift are called Swifties, I think. Fans of Lady Gaga are Little Monsters, Beyonce's Beehive, right? Justin Bieber's fans, just weird is what I call them.
Believers? Is that what they are?
Yes, they are believers. Yeah. They are absolutely believers.
I won't tell you how I know that, Pat. Okay, I would not say I'm a JB fan, but I do know his fan name. Okay,
so that's okay. It's okay if you're a fan, by the way. I won't hate. But as you can see, you start to feel this connection, and if you are a believer and you find another believer, you already have like a bunch of things you could talk about and you're best friends, even though you don't even know each other, right? That's the amazing sort of effect that a community has when you have that commonality, which is you and your brand. And then at the top here, we have our super fans. Now, if I were to ask you, where is most of the engagement? Where are the people who are commenting the most? Where are your repeat customers coming from? Are they coming from your casual audience, or are they coming from the top of the pyramid, the super fans, right? They're coming from the top, right? So the smallest group of people are giving you the most love, right? But what do most businesses focus on? Most businesses and YouTubers and content creators are focused on, well, let's just grow more people. Let's get more exposure. Let's build the brand. Let's search engine optimization, keyword research, all this other stuff, which is understandable because we often see things that look like this. This is known as a funnel, right? Where traffic comes in at the top. Again, the largest part, but that's what we focus on, traffic. And some of that traffic then becomes subscribers. Some of those subscribers then go to a sales page, and some of those sales pages, visitors become customers. And that's where it stops. And we think that gravity is going to do all the work for us, right? We pour water in at the top of the funnel here, and then all those things happen automatically. And yes, there is automation. There is the idea of building systems and workflows in your business, and that's absolutely important. Funnels are fun because you can gauge the numbers. If you want to double the amount of money you make, you just double the amount of traffic, or you double the amount of traffic turning into subscribers, or you double the amount of subscribers turning into the sales page. This is why so many businesses focus on this. But people aren't focusing on, businesses are not focusing on this, which is where the super fans are. Because that pyramid I just showed you, the funnel is essentially just the bottom portion of this pyramid. We want to go to the top. And this is where some amazing things happen, because your super fans in your community, when you move people up this pyramid, they bring new people in for you. They can grow this business in a way that you can't even do yourself. There's no amount of money that could add up to how great a referral from somebody who loves you so much is. And this is why these super fans can build your business for you. So my theory, my thesis, my plea here is, please, let's focus on building the experiences that create super fans versus let's just figure out how to get more people to find us. Because for me, what makes a business special is when they go an inch wide and understand exactly who you are and a mile deep with you, versus let's go a mile wide and an inch deep with everybody, if that makes sense. Right? So in this call today, I'm going to teach you how we can bring people from the bottom of this pyramid to the top. And really, it's all about the moments you create for them over time, because super fans aren't created the moment people discover you, right? They're created by the moments you create for them over time. Imagine a song that you hear for the first time. You might like the song and you're like, this has a cool jam to it, but I'm not, like, you don't even know who the artist is really yet. You haven't researched them. You want to know who it is. You've triggered them, but you're not a fan on day one. You're a fan because you listen to the song and then you buy the album and then it's on repeat and then you see them on MTV and then you go download their YouTube videos, then you go to the concert, and then next time you go to the backstage and all of a sudden you're spending thousands of dollars to see the Backstreet Boys, leaving your husband with the kids at home, right? Like, that's what happens, but it takes time. And this is why most people don't focus on this, because we all want things to happen right away. But the beauty of this is when you build for super fans, it's business insurance. And what I mean by that is when you have fans, those people who are going to be loyal to you, it doesn't matter what happens in technology. It doesn't matter if YouTube were to shut down. It doesn't matter all the algorithms that are getting in the way. Your fans will show up no matter what, no matter where. And so that's what I want to help you do today. So what we're going to talk about is, to start, creating your active audience. How to convert people who have found you for the first time and give them what I like to call moments of activation, or activation trigger, something that makes them go, ooh, I like this person, or I like what they have to offer here. I need to follow this person more deeply. And that's what we're going to do here. I'm going to give you 3 different ways to do this. So let's start with actually a quick question. How many of you have been to a conference that you've been to and you've met new people for the first time, right? A lot of us have done that. I know, Sean, and you have put on your own conferences as well, which is amazing. And I love that. You should all be there to meet each other beyond just the content that you're going to consume. But what are those conversations like with people that you just meet for the first time? They're always surface level, right? You meet somebody new and you're kind of just standing far away from each other and you're just like, oh, where are you from? What do you do? What's your channel? Like, what's your blog? What's your business? And it's all the same questions with everybody, right? But the moment one of you speaks about something that the other person has also in common, maybe you're both parents, maybe you both went to the same school, right? Like, if that conversation might be like if you're meeting somebody for the first time and then you're like, hey, what college did you go to? And they're like, oh, I went to Cal, UC Berkeley. And then you might be like, oh my gosh, me too. Are you serious? Like, what year did you graduate? Oh, I graduated in 2005. Oh my gosh, me too. Oh my gosh, best friends forever, go Bears. Like, we're all of a sudden friends who have these experiences to share that we just met, but now we're friends because of that little common item, right? And so the idea here is to put some personality into your business. And really, this is how you stand out, because truly nobody is like you. You are your best advantage. You are 100% original and nobody could copy you. Yet we're all trying to either A, be like somebody else, or B, put on this front of professionalism where it's just like you're just kind of dry and there's really no reason to connect with you. Right now, let me give you a quick story. I remember going to a conference once, and it was a social media marketing world, which I know you and Sean and others in the community have been to as well. And I remember we were on the Hornblower, which is this dinner cruise boat that's in the Bay of San Diego. And I was just coming out of the bathroom, and all of a sudden I heard this woman call my name from across the room, but she was saying something else along with it. Here's what she was saying. She was saying, "Pat Flynn, Pat, big baby Pat Flynn." And I'm like, that's like the rudest thing to say ever across the whole room. I don't understand what is happening right now. So I go up to her and I'm just like, that's weird. And her name, I think it was like Stephanie or something on her name tag. And she goes, "Oh my gosh, Pat, I'm a huge fan. I love everything you do. I listen to your podcast." And I'm like, "Okay, but why'd you call me a big baby?" And she goes, "Oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. I'm so sorry. You had mentioned in one of your episodes just briefly that you were an 11-pound, 12-ounce baby." And she was like, "I had a giant baby too." And that was like the thing that got me to start following you and going deeper with you. And I was just like, wow, that's incredible. It's kind of rude, but thank you. And the truth is, like, I was actually 11-pound, 12-ounce baby, by the way. Here's proof. That's me a week after birth, literally. Do not look at it straight in the eyes. I'm just letting you know it's a very scary vision. But obviously I haven't really grown much since then. But anyway, to turn that screen off really quick. Like, amazing things happen when you share a little bit about yourself. Like, for example, you know now that I'm a big fan of Back to the Future. Here's what has happened since adding that into my content. Not like, here's a blog post about my love for Back to the Future, but like, it just ends up in my content because it's a part of who I am, right? And I remember when I first started my podcast, and the reason that she knew this information about me was because at the beginning of every episode of my podcast, I have a fun little fact about myself sort of shared by my voiceover guy. And I remember I was starting my podcast and I was going to my mentors and people who already had a podcast, telling them this idea about my voiceover guy to read these things about me. And they were all like, "Pat, this is the dumbest idea ever. Why would you waste people's time? People don't care about you." But now 65 million downloads later, and the most ravenous raving fans in the world, they're like, "Pat, you actually were right. You're a genius." And the truth is, I'm not a genius. The truth is, I'm just trying to be a human. And what do people know about their friends? They know these fun, weird little facts about themselves, right? I used to follow blogs back in the day when I was big into UFC, even though they had nothing to do with UFC. I just followed them because I knew they also loved the thing that I also loved. And even if I didn't, it's something I know about them that makes them more human, right? And as my good friend Chris Ducker says, it's no longer B2B or B2C. It's about P2P, right? The person-to-person relationship. So when you put personality in there, people have something to connect you with. So now, like Andy here says, I can't even watch Back to the Future anymore without thinking about Pat Flynn and Smart Passive Income. Or Joel here, who was at Target and randomly found a Marty McFly doll and was like, "Look what I found at Target. When I think of Back to the Future, I think of Pat Flynn." Or Chris here says, "Back to the Future is playing right now on ABC. I wonder if Pat Flynn can sense it." And yes, Chris, I can. But it's like, okay, Pat, like, this is Inception, right? Because they know these things about me. Now when they see Back to the Future or DeLorean, it's like I'm with them now because they're making these connections, right? So that's what I want you to do. I want you to, and again, you don't have to share your life story. This is why vlogs work really well, by the way, because vlogs share bits and pieces about a person's life with each other. And even though you might not have a vlog, even though you might have an educational channel or some other business that, you know, your life doesn't really need to be in there, just sharing a little bit about yourself, something that you love, makes you more you. And that's what people can connect with. So put some personality into your brand. Cool? Cool. We good to keep going, Heather? Just want to make sure everybody's fired up, ready to go.
Absolutely. They're loving this. So funny. There's a chat about big babies happening in here. There's a chat about Back to the Future happening in here. Good. They are fired up right now.
Now, when you see a big baby, you're going to think of me. Okay, next. And this is really the big lesson here. Embrace your weird. If you're weird, embrace that. My son came home from school one day, and he was like, "Daddy, this guy called me weird." And he was like upset. He was actually crying. And I look at him and I go, "Well, you are weird." And he was like, "Real? What? Why would you say that?" And I say, "No, you're weird, and that's what makes you special. That's what makes you you. If you weren't weird, you'd be like just everybody else, and you wouldn't be my son. You wouldn't be special. Your mom is weird. Your sister's weird. Don't tell them I said that. I'm weird, but that's what makes us great. So embrace your weird." I mean, this is a ridiculous picture, but yes, those are all the things that I own. I did not rent those. Those are all mine. Okay, next story. This goes back to April, actually, and it has to do with understanding the language of your target audience. There was a guy named Jay Abraham who said, if you can define the problem better than your target customer, they will automatically assume you have the solution. And what I mean about April is when she was 15, this is when I got those stories out of her about how she fell in love with the Backstreet Boys. This is what she told me. When she was 15, she went through this terrible breakup with her boyfriend, and she was in her room. There was no Spotify, there was no iPhone or anything. It was just the radio. And she had heard a song on the radio that she heard many times before because they were playing it all the time. But she never really listened. But it was this time, in this moment, after a breakup, that she actually really got triggered by it. And the reason was because every word, every lyric in this song was about everything she was going through after that breakup. And so what was that song? That song was called Quit Playing Games with My Heart by the Backstreet Boys, right? And so that's what she was going through. That was her activation moment. Wow, they're really, like, they get me, right? Even though it was just a band, the lyrics were about everything she was going through. So when you can determine not just the problems of your target audience and what they might need help with, but if you can really nail the language and the lyrics that they would respond to, I mean, that's an immediate in. And that's why in your videos, the hook in the beginning is really important, right? When you get to the core right away of why a person is there and what they need, I mean, you got them. They're in, right? They're going to subscribe. You want people to go, finally, I found somebody who gets it, right? That's the kind of response you want to get. And amazing things happen when you do that. So number one, know who you're speaking to, but also learn their lyrics. How do you understand their lyrics? Well, the best way to do it is to listen to them. And the best way to listen to them is to actually have a real life conversation. So this might sound kind of crazy to you, but I have an email list of 225,000 people, nearly 250,000. I still take the time every single month to have 10 Skype or Zoom conversations with 10 new email subscribers every single month. And I'll tell you, those conversations are gold. They're gold because I'm hearing directly from my target audience what they need help with. What are you struggling with right now? What's one big challenge you have related to building your online business? What have you tried to do that has not really worked out like you thought it would? And all along the way, yes, I'm hearing about their problems. I'm taking notes. I'm getting information about what my next blog post can be, or my next video should be about, what my next product can be about. But I'm also taking note of how they describe those problems, because you can have the best solution in the world, but if you cannot relate and have the same lyrics that they would respond to, you might as well not have a solution at all. You have to nail the language. You have to. So Backstreet Boys, right? Their target audience back then, girls between 13 and 18. Well, what happens in a girl's life between the age of 13 and 18? They fall in love. They fall out of love. Okay, that's the problem. How do they describe it? Do they say, like, oh, darling, I wish we could be together, but we're no longer, and no, they say, quit playing games with my heart. Okay, that's the lyric. Let's write a song and have a #1 hit, right? Legit, target audience, problem, lyric. Nail it, right? You get it. Okay, good. So we're still on the bottom of the pyramid here, right? We're getting people who just found us to go, yes, that's my guy or that's my gal, right? So we talked about putting personality, those little connections, right? And number two, the lyrics. So let's go for one more. So this will take you back to my junior year of college. This is really what took up my whole junior year of college, this game called World of Warcraft. I remember the first 5 minutes of playing this game, I knew I was done for. And by done for, I mean, I knew I was going to stay up for sometimes days straight, which I literally did. They're Red Bulls and Monsters. I mean, the reason those companies are successful is because I played World of Warcraft, to be honest. And the reason is because what they do to you in the first 5 minutes. So here's what happens. You join this game. You get to pick between Alliance and Horde. It's like what creature or character do you want? And then you get put into this virtual world where other people from around the world are also there. Like they're in this virtual world with you. And you immediately go into your first quest and you slay a couple creatures, you open a couple chests, you get some gold. And then within 5 minutes, you are at experience level 2. And then you level up. And you get all this mana and power and new abilities. And then all of a sudden you have to stay up for 96 hours because you can't let your clan down because of the quest that's happening right now and the raid that's going on. So you see what I mean? The first 5 minutes were very important. Here's another game that you might be more familiar with. Angry Birds, right? Here is the first level, just to remind you, because I know some of you are at level 4,000 right now. So this is 3 Angry Birds and 1 bad piggy. on the top of this building. It's like the worst architecture I've ever seen. One hit, you're going to win. And what happens? You get all these points, you get 3 stars, and then all of a sudden you forget to pick up your kids at school. I'm not saying that happened, but it can. And the reason is because these games are utilizing the small, quick win. When you are able to offer a small, quick win, it does something to your audience psychologically. It helps them realize that, wow, I need to keep coming back here to get more rewards. So here's a very clear example. This was back before I became an entrepreneur. I was a big personal finance blog nerd. This was back when you would subscribe to blogs with an RSS feed reader, if you all remember those days. And I was subscribed to like 40 different personal finance blogs because I was so interested in retirement accounts and, savings and all this kind of stuff. And there was one blog in particular I was not a huge fan of because the name was very off-putting. Anybody here ever follow this blog or hear about it? It's called I Will Teach You to Be Rich.com by Ramit Sethi. And I was just kind of off-put by him because he was a little aggressive and he talked about these tactics that were kind of, different. But there was a blog post of his that was getting shared all over one day. And I read it. And that blog post was essentially I can't remember the exact title, but it was like, save 20% on your cable bill in 15 minutes. Read this script or something like that. And essentially, I read the blog post and it said, hey, call your cable company, read this script that he just laid out for you, and you'll save money on your cable bill. So I was like, no way. Like, that's crazy. Like, that quickly, that easy? No way. So lunch one day during architecture, I call the cable company. I read the script, just like Ramit told me to, and I was able to save 25% of my cable bill. And then being a retirement junkie, I was like, oh my gosh, after 40 years, he's just saved me $250,000, like in 15 minutes, right? So imagine what the other people were saying in the personal finance space. Don't drink that latte, save $25 a month until you're 65, and then you can enjoy your wins. That versus Ramit saving me 25% of my cable bill in 15 minutes. Which one do you think is going to get me more excited? The quick win, obviously, right? Yet I can't tell you how many times we creators go all out with trying to help our people do the biggest task right away. And that's still good to do. You want to change the lives of your audience. You want them to go big. But the truth is, if you want to change somebody's life, start by changing their day first. Go small to go big. Does that make sense? Go small to go big. So when you provide these small, quick wins, it can be a really, really great trigger for people to come back and get more. So as soon as a person subscribes to your email list, for example, the very first email should be something that they could do in 5 minutes to get them a result they've never had before. Something small, something easy, and something quick. But that's what's going to get them to open those new emails that you send over. That's what's going to get them to say, oh my gosh, he's already or she's already helped me out so much in such a small way. I'm going to invest in a much bigger way because it's already working. Cool? All right. So those are 3 different ways we can activate our casual audience. But now we're going to move up the pyramid here. So we're going to move from active audience. Remember, you're a subscriber. They know who you are. They followed you. You've already triggered them. But now we want them to feel like they're a part of the community. And this is really important because, like I said, this is where sort of magic happens. And to tell you a quick story, I was a very short kid. Yes, I know I was 11 pounds, 12 ounces, but I was kind of like 11 pounds, 12 ounces my senior year of high school. I did not pass 5 feet tall until college. I was a shrimp. I was always in the front of all the photos and I got picked on and bullied and it kind of sucked. Luckily, I had some really good friends. Here's proof, by the way. Here is a picture of me my senior year of high school. Just to give you some perspective, a trumpet is 18 inches tall. I'm just saying. And on a good day, I was maybe 19 and a half. No, I'm just kidding. But I was a shrimp, right? So small, and I got picked on. Luckily, I had some really nice friends, though. They always had my back. And unfortunate for me, they were all very tall. And of course, tall people love to play basketball. But they were my friends, so they invited me to play with them. And this was my view, like every single day during lunch. And it was not fun because I was always picked last, and I never got past the ball. They invited me on the court. They invited me to play, but I never felt like I belonged. So how many times do we, as we're building our community, we have the court. We know what we want people to play, but then we don't make them feel like they belong, just like I did. And I'll tell you, if they passed the ball to me a couple times, if they, let me shoot, or maybe if I wasn't picked last all the time, I would really feel like I was a part of something. But when they all went to go to like a 3-on-3 tournament and they invited me to go along, I did not want to support them. I did not feel like I needed to go because even though they invited me on the court and I was their friend, I never felt like I was a part of the team. So we need to have people feel like they are a part of a team. We need to give people attention. That's number one. We need to make people who are in our tribe, we need to give them a little bit of attention as a group and also individually. But most importantly, we need to make them feel like they belong to something. And there's some strategies I'm about to share with you to make people feel like they belong to something, like they're a part of something. So number one, and this is a very obvious way to get people to engage. This is going to be very especially useful for those of you who have YouTube communities and you are trying to get your people to comment and all those kinds of things. Actually, the example I'm about to share with you is specifically about a YouTuber. But what I don't want you to do is to just ask questions. I think we all know that you don't get unless you ask, and a great way to engage your audience is just to ask questions. But instead of asking just questions, ask for the answer. The answer, where there is something that is very specific, that is a very clear answer, that's what you need to ask for it. So here's the example. This is Steve Spangler. He has a YouTube channel called Sick Science, among many others. He is a scientist. I love him because he teaches kids to make science fun and all this stuff. He's been featured on Ellen, as you can see here, and many other places too. And when he started his YouTube channel, he did his videos like this. He would do the experiment, right? And then he would share exactly what he would share the science behind it. He's a teacher. And then he would ask his audience, please comment below with your thoughts, or, let me know what you think, just like we would normally do, right? So he would, for example, suck in air from a balloon, and then his voice would be super low, like Darth Vader. And he would go, well, that's because argon is a gas that's more dense than air, and as a result, your voice would be lower. What do you think? Comment below. And then, of course, these are the kinds of comments he would get. First was always that one. And then, cool, awesome, where can I buy that gas? Like those kinds of things. And that's it. So it wasn't very great in terms of the engagement. Then he switched his strategy to, instead of telling people what happened, he would ask them what happened. How did this experiment pan out this way? So he would do the experiment and go, hey, you tell me what happened. And then in some of his later videos, he would share the best answers with everybody from the community. So then the comments and the engagement exploded. People pulling out their chemistry books, trying to create the best answer to feel like they're involved with something. And it just blew up. And it blew up so much that back when YouTube was doing, for the first time, some like exclusive content with creators, he was one of the first because of the engagement that he had on his channel. And here's a quick thing that maybe you can all relate to, and maybe Heather, you can participate. Have you ever watched a game show on television? Yes, you've seen a game show.
Yes, love game shows. Our kids love them.
They're great, right? Have you ever watched one by yourself?
Yes, I have. Jeopardy.
Have you ever watched one by yourself, yet even though you are alone, you shout out the answer?
Always. I shout right? at the TV. Yeah.
We hope that Alex Trebek is going to give us money when we're right. But obviously that doesn't happen. Why do we do that? Why do we, even though we're alone, share answers to things when nobody's around? Because we as human beings love to know that we know the right answer, right? We just love to confirm that we got it right. So allow for your audience to feel like they got it right. You don't have to always be the one that tells everybody what's going on. There are opportunities for you to get people involved very, very easily. Lego is a great example of how they mobilize their community and get them involved too. So let's talk about Lego a little bit. Lego was a company that went through some amazing, crazy journeys here. For example, in 2003, did you know they were $800 million in debt? They almost went bankrupt. I mean, that's a lot of money to be in debt and still be alive. So that's crazy. But they got a new CEO to come on board who focused on, instead of just churning out product after product, which is how they got in trouble, they focused on asking the fans what they wanted. And fans started to talk about how they wanted to see their Harry Potter version of Lego. They wanted to see Legos of their favorite things, right? And so what they did was they started to shift focus on giving the fans what they wanted instead of just what they thought they wanted. And now they are worth over $150 billion, more than Mattel and Hasbro combined. And they've done that in so many different ways. User-generated content, for example. If you go to YouTube and you look up Lego, you're going to find tens of millions of videos of just regular Lego creators using Lego. And what does Lego do? Do they go, no, you are not allowed to use our product in your videos? No, they go, hey, here's more Lego that you can use. Go make more content, right? Because that user-generated content is great. So they're making their users feel like they're involved or a part of something. They also have co-creation where they literally actually hire or have people who are Lego creators like us, and they feature them and they show them off. And this is what their CEO said: we actively encourage our fans to interact and suggest product ideas. While we have 120 staff designers, we potentially have 120,000 volunteer designers we can access outside the company to help us invent. Did you know about this website? It's called Lego Ideas. Any of us can create a Lego contraption of whatever kind we want. We put it up on this website, and if it gets over 10,000 votes from the rest of the community, they will actually manufacture that product as a real Lego product with your name on it, and you'll get a percentage of it. Isn't that incredible? So all of us can become a part of Lego too and get involved, right? And by the way, here are some examples. I want you to pay attention to number 4 there. That is the Lego DeLorean, created by a user of Lego, obviously a Back to the Future fan. I would love to say that was me, but it wasn't. But I definitely supported it. I bought 2, and I bought 2 because you need to build one and then you keep one just because the price is going to go up, and it has actually. But getting their audience involved was really cool. It felt good to like support another Lego fan and Back to the Future fan through their little ideas situation. So getting your audience to offer ideas for where the business could go or what the next video would be. I know many of you are very familiar with epic rap battles of history, right? What do they always do at the end of their channel? They go, who's next? What 2 historical figures should we pit against each other in the next rap battle? And at the start of every video, they show all the comments where people have requested that, right? What an amazing way to involve the community and have the users create the experience for themselves. This is a sample that I did. So I had built a website in the security guard training niche back in the day. And what I do in my business is I build a lot of businesses and just kind of share the process, win or fail. It's always a lesson for everybody. And as I was building this website, I got 2 logos designed. And instead of just picking one, I went, hey guys, which one do you like better, A or B? And I'll tell you, back when Facebook was actually very helpful for us marketers, this exploded. This was my most commented on post ever. And it was simply, hey guys, what do you think, A or B? And it had thousands of comments, and it just kind of blew me away. This is Amy Porterfield, a good friend of the community I know, and she's amazing. She's one of the smartest people I know. She goes, hey there, got a minute? I need a little font help. Can you tell me which font for the Social Love Weekly you like best? It's for my brand new newsletter coming out in July. Thanks so much. Do you really think Amy Porterfield, a premier marketer, so smart, actually needs quote unquote font help? No, she doesn't need font help, but she is so smart because she showed different examples to get her audience involved. And like with my example, it got everybody to participate, to communicate. And this obviously helps the algorithms. But also in this, she's also seeding the idea that her newsletter was coming too. So super smart, get everybody involved, sort of insert things that are coming along the way, and you can't lose, which is really amazing. So let's talk about some other strategies to get your community involved. I don't know if you know your American history, but let me tell you a little bit. Back in the 1800s, when the Industrial Revolution was happening, factories started to pop up, right? When people started to learn about manufacturing and creating factories, they were always very locked, secretive. Only people who worked there and like investors were allowed in. They never let anybody in. But then in the late 1800s, early 1900s, they started actually opening factory doors, and like families would make weekends out of going into, a factory to see how the thingamajig was made, right? I don't know if you've ever been to like a chocolate factory tour or a brewery tour, but it's like really interesting, right? To see how things work. And this is why shows like, I don't know if you've ever heard of How It's Made on Discovery or Science Channel. Like they show you how like the rubber tire was made or whatever. Like even though you have no interest in rubber tires, you can't help but continue to watch how the rubber tire was made, because we humans are just so curious of a species. We want to know how things work and how things are put together. So an amazing thing that you can share with your audience to make them feel like they're a part of something, to get them so curious about what you do, is to open up your factory doors. Show people how you do what you do. I'm sure a lot of you have shared perhaps like the cameras that you use to do video, and that inspires people, but it also gets people sort of on the inside. It makes them feel like they're a part of something, right? When that factory tour, this is why when you walk into a Krispy Kreme, you see a bunch of kids and adults like on that window looking at all the donuts being made, right? Because it's just so fascinating. And you can show how your donuts are made too. Your donuts might not actually be donuts, but they could be a version of that. Who's on your team that helps support you behind the scenes, that's usually holding the video camera? Who are they? And the more you can show those kinds of things, those are like experiences that only your community would see. And it also becomes something that you share with other people. Because I remember like, it's almost like a secret thing that you share just with your insiders, right? Just like the inner circle here. I don't know if any of you have ever been to the West Coast, but you live on the East Coast. If you ever meet somebody on the West Coast who's a fan of In-N-Out Burger, what do they tell you about? The secret menu. You got to check out the secret menu. Let me tell you about the secret menu, right? And it's because you learn when you go to In-N-Out that there's this thing where you can get your burgers animal style or your fries animal style with the onions and the cheese and the sauce on your French fries. It's not on the menu, but that's what we do. We have this special knowledge about In-N-Out, so we want to be the ones to share it because we want to have credit for that, right? So give your audience ammunition to share with others to make them feel like they got something that they don't. And what does that do? It makes other people, it brings them in. It makes them want to be involved too, right? So be like In-N-Out. I'm a big In-N-Out fan. I know some of you are like Five Guys fans, or was it Shake Shack is the other big one on the East Coast, right? Shake Shack's pretty good actually. But anyway, here are some examples of factory tours. For me, I share my income reports on my website. So I share the new businesses that I create, how they're doing, how they're performing, what went well, what didn't go well, and people love these. These are my most popular posts on my website. This is my version of the factory tour for SPI. Gary Vaynerchuk. I mean, ever since Ask Gary V came about and D-Rock started following him all day, I mean, people fall in love with seeing how Gary does what he does, right? And this is episode 1 where he wasn't able to get into a keynote because he didn't have the right shoes on or a coat. And that was just so interesting to see how he handled that situation. But then it gave you something to talk about when you see somebody else who might know Gary. You go, hey, did you see that episode? You didn't see that? Like, he actually went in to speak and they wouldn't let him in. Isn't that crazy? And they go, oh, well, I guess I should try to look at that episode too. And now he's, I don't even know how many episodes into Daily V. So let's keep going here. We're building your community. Just a quick energy check. We all doing good? I know I've been talking a lot. I had a lot of coffee right before this. I just want to make sure everybody's okay.
Yeah, Inner Circle is like, the chat is going crazy right now. They're all talking about what is the secret menu, and they're super excited to learn what that is because it's dinner time. Yeah.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, I'm sure there's like secret things that happen in the inner circle that like will grow the inner circle when you share those things on the outside, right? Like I even want to know more about the inner circle now because, and that's why it's so smart that you guys named it the inner circle. It's like, hey, you on the outside, you wish you were here, right? So you can have the same thing. And I love that because that involves our next topic here, which is events and meetups. When you have events or meetups or opportunities for your community to come together, it raises the authority level of your brand. And it's just so amazing what can happen. I ran my first conference this past year called FlynnCon. And I'll tell you, I had like 400 people come into San Diego with hardly any knowledge about what they were getting themselves into. And they all had an amazing time. And of course, they go home and they start talking about it, right? Just like a concert. Going back to April's story, she was telling a very vivid recount of her first concert. She remembers getting, for a Christmas present from her brother, 2 concert tickets. So she invited her best friend and she was telling me all the details about, months leading up to it. What are we going to wear? I wonder what songs they're going to do and, all this stuff. And then she remembers the concert specifically. And of course, being there and seeing them live after hearing them on radio, like you become even more of a fan of them, right? And then she told this story about this girl she met who was standing right next to her, who she just like befriended because they were all part of the same community. They both loved Nick Carter and they became friends after that. They didn't even know each other. It was just simply the fact that they were there at a concert that brought them together, that they already knew they were going to be friends with each other because they had those stories to relate to. So when you hold these meetings and you facilitate them, whether it's online in a live setting like this or in person, it just amazing things happen. One thing I love to do ever since I discovered that I had fans was when I go speak at a conference somewhere, I often will be like, hey guys, let's meet at this coffee shop at this time, or I'll sometimes rent out a restaurant and we'll just have like pizza and some drinks together and get to meet each other. And it's a fun way to kind of interact and meet the fans. I remember I did this once in St. Louis at an event and I rented out a pizza joint. And we were there for a few hours. And I tried to go down and meet everybody. And I remember at the end of the night, we were all leaving. And I see this woman who I didn't even know was there. And I felt so terrible because I wanted to say hi. And I knew she came over to hang out. And so I go up to her. I'm like, hey, I'm so sorry we didn't get a chance to meet. Like, maybe we can hang out tomorrow at the event. And, I'm just so sorry. And she goes, Pat, don't take offense to this, but I didn't come here to see you. And I was like, oh, are you what? Are you serious? But then she was like, Pat, I love you. Your show is amazing. I listen to it every day. But here's the truth. I never get a chance to be and surround myself around people like me. And you bringing us together was so important because I got to meet amazing friends and business partners. And again, they all had those connections of being weird entrepreneurs together. And she was just so thankful. And again, I was just like, whoa, that's really cool because when you put on events, it's actually not for you. It's for the people who you put on the event for. And it just, again, heightens the level of your brand because then when those people go and meet together in the future, they're like, where did we meet again? Oh, yeah, it was Pat's meetup. And then there's, that starts to start the conversation again. So events and meetups are great, and they can happen online or offline. This is an example from Lego. An AFOL is an adult fan of Lego. This is on meetup.com. They have 4,000 members, and this is just a fraction of them because not all of them are on Meetup, but they have conventions and meetups just for adult fans of Lego. So just a very specific subset of Lego people, and they go there and they I don't even know what they do there. They build things and they talk about the latest sets and all this stuff. And again, it's like a weird little culture, but they help them. Lego supports this. They want it. They also have Brick Fair in Virginia, BrickCon, Brick World. Lego doesn't even put these on. Lego supports these creators who wanted to create an opportunity for their business and brand to be showcased, but they know that it just elevates the brand in and of itself. Right? And hundreds of thousands of people come out to these things to see all the latest in Lego, and they have competitions, and just, it's kind of ridiculous. This is me at a coffee shop, just bringing my community together who was at an event that I was at. I hold live workshops and things like that in San Diego. This is an online thing that I did to celebrate Let Go Day. Let Go Day is June 17th. That's the day I got laid off from my architecture job, the best day of my life. Didn't know it at the time, but I celebrated every year with my community, and this was my family way back when they were little people, and we celebrate online, and you could do it online or offline when you bring people together. And then FlynnCon, this is me and my wife on stage at the event that I hold in San Diego. It was just, again, so cool to bring the community together, and it just elevated Team Flynn and the FlynnCon brand and SPI massively, because people have those experiences that they could talk about that they can't get anywhere else. This is probably my favorite thing to do, and I think this is a unique opportunity for us YouTubers and podcasters out there. We have the ability to make our community get closer together by putting the spotlight on them. And I think a lot of times when we are creators, we feel like it always has to be about us. And the truth is, you can grow and make people feel more like they belong to something if you put the spotlight on people that are just like them. So I've done some podcast episodes where I take my students and I interview them about where they were and then kind of where they are now, but also through that just becomes an amazing, authentic testimonial, because I don't even have to ask. They go, "Oh, Pat, well, it was your podcasting course that really helped us out," or "It was your coaching advice on that call that we did together." And they are much better at selling me than I am at selling myself. You know what I mean? So if you have any students, if you coach people, if you have a product, why not use your platform to share their story? I don't know if you've ever read the book called Story Brand, or Building a Story Brand by Donald Miller, but he says, you know what, your customers, your audience, your subscribers, your community, they are the hero of the story. You are not the hero of the story. You are the Yoda. You're the guide. The Luke Skywalker is your audience. The Luke Skywalker, they go through a series of events where initially they're weak, and with the help from Yoda, they become strong. And that's how you can benefit from being a business owner or a creator, is you show how you've helped others, because they will then in turn support you. And the people who are on the fence are going to go, "Wow, that person was just like me. I have no excuse now." You could sell your thing all day. You could hire the best copywriters in the world. You wouldn't be able to sell anything as well as one of your own students could for you, because they are more relatable. And that's the opportunity we have. And that makes people feel like they're a part of something when they see a version of themselves in somebody else who has taken action. I mean, we all want our audience to take action. What better way than to use the platform that you have to put a spotlight on somebody else? Everybody wins in that situation. So I highly recommend you do that. So as the great philosopher Drake once said, we started from the bottom, now we're here. And so we're going to now focus on building our raving fans or our super fans, right? So we had people start with us. They we give them a moment of activation of some kind. They then are a subscriber. They're following us. They feel like they belong to something. When you get people involved, they start to be invested, not just with money, but also with time. But now let's get them to become super fans. And the truth is, naturally, some people in your community, just because they're talking about it so much and they find other people like it, who like it too, or like you as well, or your brand, that naturally some of them are just going to become super fans without you having to do any extra work, which is really great. But there's some nudging we can do to get people to really become those super fans. And here's a couple ways that I like doing this. And my favorite way to do this is to create memorable moments by surprise. And the by surprise part is the most important thing. And actually, I can do this even live for you right now, and show you some examples. But a clear example that you might relate to is if you have a spouse, right, and you go to bed with them every night and you say, "Good night, honey, I love you. Good night, honey, I love you." Every night, not that doesn't have less meaning over time, but it just becomes expected and it's usual, right? But it's when you go to her office on a random Tuesday at 3:48 p.m. and you just give her a little card that says, hey, honey, I love you. Just want to let you know, for no reason, no agenda other than to just say that. And it's kind of out of nowhere. That's the little thing in the relationship that gets remembered. That's what gets talked about. That's what gets the other people in the office to go, oh my God, your husband, amazing. And it's just a small little gesture, right? So we can create these small little gestures that are, again, unexpected, because the truth is this is so easy. This is the easiest part of this entire presentation, because we all have these opportunities to do this, yet we don't know we do, or we don't make the time to do it. So I'm going to show you a really quick example right now, something that we could all do in this very moment. I just stopped sharing my screen so I can go full size here really quick. I'll get back to it in just a minute. But I'm going to open Instagram right now, and I'm going to find a random person who I know is following me, so I can go to my followers. And I'm going to click on followers. I'm going to find David. Here's David, who just followed me just now because he's at the top of my Instagram. I'm going to send him a message. Video message. Okay. This is how easy this is. Hey, what's up, David? Pat Flynn here. Just want to say, first of all, I saw you were following me on Instagram. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And I hope you're doing well. I don't know where you're at in your business, but let me know if there's anything I can help you with. And obviously I have a lot of content on SPI that might help you as well, but just want to say thank you so much. I'm here for you. Thank you so much. That took how long?
So good, Pat. Love this advice.
That took how long? That took 10 seconds, right? Or 12 seconds. And the thing is, no other brand is going to do that. And so when you consider, oh, well, everybody's fighting for competition and attention out there, like nobody's doing this. And we all have access to these tools right now to enable us to give a little bit of special moment to somebody, right? Remember I said, it's the moments you create for people over time. So when a person sees this, number one, unexpected. Number two, they see your face, they hear your voice. And number three, they're just blown away. I guarantee you most of the time you're going to get a wow reply back. It's kind of mind-blowing, and it's so easy. Now, you might have noticed during this presentation, I still have a little bit more to go, but a lot of what I'm sharing with you is not like mind-blowing brand new strategies. Like none of it is. It's actually stuff that used to work before the internet. The connections and the going deep with people. Like my friend Chris Ducker always said, he tells a story about Bob the Baker. It's like a fictional person, but it's like, you go to Bob the Baker, not only because he has great bread, but because when you walk into Bob's Bakery, he goes, hey, Pat, like, how's the family doing? How is your wife? Like, how was the soccer game last weekend? You go, oh, it was great. Well, how's your wife, Jill? And you have this conversation, right? And then maybe a supermarket opens up between the two of you that has bread for cheap. Well, I'm still going to go to Bob because when I walk in, he gives me attention. He knows who I am and I know him, and we have that relationship together. That's how it was done in small town times. And I think we need to get back to that. And the cool thing is these tools that were supposed to bring us closer together, like social media, has actually brought us apart. However, within those tools, like I just showed you, we can actually bring those connections back. And I think that that's what's going to help us stand out. This is how you create super fans, those repeat customers, those people who will just like be waiting for your next video to come out. Or when you come out with a product, they're going to like not even read the sales page. They're already, you know, they got their PayPal account ready. Or if a troll shows up in your comments, like you go in and you're like, holy crap, my fans already have defended me before I even saw this, right? Those are that's what we want to build. And so this is just what my mission is now to share with you, because I think we all have these opportunities. So these little fun things are important. But here's the last thing I want to talk about. How many super fans do you actually really need? There was an article, and actually, I'm not going full screen yet, am I? Hold on one sec. Doing a little reach around here. Glad I caught that. Okay. So you might be wondering, how many super fans do you need? There was an article by a man named Kevin Kelly written in 2007, just before I got laid off. And this was so key to me in my success because I realized that through this article, it was kind of a thesis, not any how-to, just the idea. It made me realize that you don't need a blockbuster hit to have a very successful business and a very supportive, a business that supports the life that you want. And he said that you actually just need 1,000. And the reason is because if you imagine these super fans of yours, right? They love what you do, your creative, your work, your business, your products, whatever it might be. Let's say they just invested in you $100 a year. I mean, that's less than $10 a month. This is on the low end, right? I mean, I have spent thousands of dollars on Back to the Future stuff across my lifetime, and super fans will often spend even more. But let's say on the low end, $100. $100 times 1,000 true fans. I mean, that's a six-figure business right there, like guaranteed, if not more, because of what you have built and those relationships that you've created. So one thing that me and my team always ask ourselves every single day, because if you were to break this down, and if you were starting from scratch, this is one fan a day for less than 3 years. Are we understanding how like achievable this is? When you go deep with people, you don't actually have to go deep with as many as you might think. You don't need to create the next fidget spinner or the Uber that everybody in the world will use. You don't have to change the world, but you can change somebody's world, that group of people, and you can become their go-to, their favorite. So this is what my team and I ask ourselves every single day at the end of work. And that is, have you earned a fan today? And when you build for the idea that only one fan a day, that little extra attention, that little surprise moment, that one or two Instagram, by the way, that strategies work so well for connecting. Like a lot of the people who I used to do that with had come to my event because it made that kind of impression on them, that little Instagram video. I now make the time every Friday for 30 minutes only to just go through as many new followers on Instagram as possible to do that, because it's made that much of a difference. And no, it's not scalable. No, I'm not going to create a video for the most common names and just automate. This isn't an automation thing. This is a relationship thing. And a little bit of time, 10 seconds per person, can go a very long way. If you schedule it, it can work. You can earn even more than one fan a day and get there much sooner. So hopefully you enjoy this, and I'm here to serve you and answer any questions that you might have. But thank you for allowing me to share this with the Inner Circle. It's very important to me, and I think that this is my way of contributing to the world to help people understand that they have the ability, that you have the ability to make these direct connections with people, to build these super fans that's going to support your business, but also have a deeper impact in your life. And I know you guys are all about making a deep impact with people. And just thank you. I hope you pick up the book perhaps, or subscribe to me on YouTube. And Heather, thank you again.
So great. Hey, Pat, what are you teaching over on YouTube? So when we send them over there, what are we teaching over there?
Yeah, so I'm actually, it's important to read the YouTube signals for what they want you to teach often. And for a while, I was kind of all over the place. General business stuff is what it was, but actually, I'm definitely going into a lane in the podcasting space and gear reviews, but also how to build your platform with your voice. A lot of YouTubers may find it interesting because I know a lot of you are also looking to either repurpose or expand your YouTube channel onto a podcast perhaps one day. And I talk about that quite often, but mainly growing your audience. My specialty is marketing and monetization, but doing it in an authentic way. So you're going to learn a lot about building passive income, affiliate marketing, those kinds of things, ways to grow your audience, build your email list, but done in a authentic way where everybody wins.
Mm-hmm. Wow, Pat, that was amazing. Can I get that really cool sound? The cool sound? Yes, that was needed for after that amazing presentation. We have some questions coming in, Pat. No, I'm loving the applause and all of it. We have some questions coming in. Inner Circle, let me know in the chat. That was just so much fire. I was taking notes. Man, what a great idea to do that challenge of reaching out to people and that personal one-to-one touch. One thing you said at the very end that I really want you to understand, Inner Circle, is we do a lot of things that are automated. That is a big part of our business. But what Pat is teaching right here is, like he said, the human to human connection. We are not making sales with credit cards. We're making sales with customers who are people who want to change their lives. And so I really loved how you said it's not scalable, but that's what matters. And so Inner Circle, really take that to heart, because, in this digital world, when we're trying to build our YouTube channels and trying to build our courses and trying to do those things, I don't want us to lose sight of the idea that there are things that are unscalable that have massive impact in your business.
Right. And you automate everything else so that you can do these things, right?
Yes.
That's the point of all this. Because usually what people do is they're not automating, number one, and they're not creating systems. And then they don't have time to make these personal interactions. And that's why everybody's working so hard. So I love that you are helping people automate and do things that are scalable. But to me, it's like you do those things so that you can have this cherry on top and then build these fans.
Yeah, so good. Journey to Wellness, thanks for being here today on the live. She asks, I only have just over 100 subscribers on my YouTube channel. Not sure if there's any super fans there yet. What should my focus be with just starting out? How do you build super fans when you only have a small audience right now?
You actually have a huge advantage over larger channels. And I want you to consider a room full of 100 people who are subscribed to you. What is that like? That makes people feel nervous often, right? When you consider like an actual physical room. And I want you to consider that these are actual human beings who have chosen to subscribe to you, and they are there to follow you. And that's so great. 100 subscribers. That's 100 human beings on the other end. And the reason I say that you have an advantage is because now you can get to know a larger percentage of your audience more than others who just don't have the time or have giant audiences and can never give anybody that personalized attention. Now is the time to give that attention to people. So if you can get them on an email list, for example, and then reach out to them and send them a video and get to know them, like what are their names? What are their likes? What are their dislikes? What problems do those 100 people specifically have? Create for them, and they're going to invite people just like them because your vibe attracts your tribe, and they're going to attract more tribe members too. And so you have this huge advantage because you can actually make these direct and personal connections with a larger percentage of your audience. And yes, maybe it's only 100, but that's also 100 people, and that 100 can turn into 1,000, can turn into 10,000. And when you reach out to them and ask what do they need help with, and you build for them, I mean, other people like them are going to come in. Your tribe's going to be that much stronger.
Yeah. Dr. K said he still remembers getting a handwritten card from Pat Flynn after he bought his book, Will It Fly? That was so awesome. That's amazing, Pat. I mean, someone in our community and your community,
That's
but
cool.
like that personal touch and taking that time to do that. I mean, so cool. I wanted to share that with you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. K. That's cool.
Yeah. Mary says, suggestions for bringing a community together when you're not in a physical proximity. She lives in a minibus and she travels around. She has a YouTube channel and a business based around that. So how do you create those connections when you're moving once a week?
Yeah, that's really interesting. I think there's a couple ways to do it. And it depends on your comfort level for one of the ideas that I have. And then I have another idea that could work regardless of where you are. So the first idea is, as you are going around, you likely have an idea of where you're going to be at a certain point. So I would pick perhaps one city that you might land in a month from now and just let everybody know, hey guys, we're doing something special here, and would love to meet you in person and just kind of hang out, have coffee together, that sort of thing. I remember a guy, his name is Adam Baker from manversusdebt.com. This is one of the personal finance blogs that I remember following back in the day. And he went on a tour and he shared with people where he was going to be. He was in San Diego. And I went to go and say hi to him because I followed him, and he had 20 people come out. And it was really cool and just chill, nothing formal. It wasn't like a stage with a podium. It was just like a hangout session. And I remember people felt so kind of FOMO that they didn't have that opportunity, that it just brought the community together. And it showed that, wow, Adam's actually connecting with community members. And I did happen to be there, but I know people who were also in his community who were like, that's really cool that Adam's going around and meeting the community. Like that's, like that person who was there is like me, and it just brings people together that much more. Even if you have only one person, it would still be beneficial because then you can get to know that person, have conversations with them, take a couple pictures, and then share with your entire community later. Hey, this is Jim. Jim and I had coffee together the other day. He's just like you. He does this X, Y, and Z. Here's his problem. Here's what we talked about. And Jim, what do you have to say about hanging out? And just, Jim comes in and like basically sells you for you, and like, not that selling is the thing, but like just promotes the connectedness in the community. Even though it's one person, that person is everybody, if that makes sense, right? So that's idea number one. If you're comfortable saying, hey guys, I'm going to be at this place on this date, let's just hang out. And just make it easy. You don't have to complicate it. And it can be at a park somewhere. It doesn't have to be anything you rent out or spend money on. So that's number one. Number two, it could be done online, meaning you can have a scheduled date where you're going to go live with your community on a specific date. Maybe you want to make sure you travel to an area with good internet connection, because I know some people who do travel in RVs and YouTube, they have struggles with internet. So make sure you're in a good place with internet. But on that date at that time, then you bring the community together in a live stream where you share, something specific that audience would like to hear. And then you can ask them questions and even invite them on to come live and share their story too, which I know a lot of platforms do. You can do Instagram lives where you kind of invite people. I know you can do that on Facebook as well now. And that would be a simple way to make the community come together. And it's so amazing when you do that online too with like live streams, because you'll see a lot of the community speaking to each other sort of on top of you speaking to them, and they get to know each other. And people sometimes go, hey, let's connect offline. Like, how cool is that? And it doesn't have to be very complicated.
I think that tip that you said about it being small is really beneficial because we host meetups here in Las Vegas, and when we go out and now we're getting to the size when we say we're going to have a meetup, it's like hundreds of people, and that becomes the next level of, oh, now what do we do with 100 people? Whereas we used to just go to a Starbucks and 20 people would show up. And so the days of really getting to connect with your audience, I can so attest to that being such a great time because you do get to know them and you're starting to follow them on Instagram and you become friends with them. That is so key, Pat. The idea of like, let's actually be friends with our customers and actually be friends in the community is such a, you said it earlier, it's something that used to happen in small towns and seems to have lost that connection nowadays.
Yeah. Something that you and Shawnee and your team could do perhaps that is kind of only open to those who are at that next level is then you can sort of chunk out a smaller group within that larger group. You could have a VIP day or a VIP sort of area, very similar to how April, my wife, paid extra money to go and be with the boys in the club after the show. It's like, please come back, number one. But number two, like that's an awesome offer that the super fans would love to pay for. You get that sort of red velvet cake, that velvet rope experience.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah. I was like, I know it's something like that.
Red carpet, maybe.
Yeah, there we go. But yeah, no, that's a really, really great idea. And we're trying to do those. We actually got the idea from you. And a couple years back, you said, I do these meetups around the city. And so we started doing them around our city. And it's been incredible to see the amount of creators and entrepreneurs that were just kind of siloed in their own thing and now have a community of people. And they don't even come for us anymore. They come for each other, like you said. So yeah. It's been really awesome to see that.
This develop. Is just... I tell a story in this book about a guy, a good friend of mine, his name is Scott Dismore, and he had a website called Live Your Legend. Unfortunately, he had passed away at a very young age, but he had set up this thing when he was still alive with his community where he would actually get his super fans to lead community meetings all around the world. And he had like 20 or 30 set up where he wasn't even there, but a member of his community kind of like stepped up and was able to bring other communities. And even though he is no longer with us, those meetups are still going on that are led by his community. And his wife's sort of taken over the website since he's gone. But it just shows you the power of community and how you can mobilize even the power users in your brand to feel a little ownership and taking a role like that.
Yes. And Inner Circle members, just so you know, we have those opportunities for you to do here inside of Inner Circle. So we have a Phoenix group. We have a Las Vegas group. Oh, I mean, awesome. People are already starting to meet up twice a week to go over the homework that we're doing and get together. It's been so cool to see them share their experiences. So New York and St. Louis, I mean, they're starting all over. So it's been really cool to see that happen. All right, let's get back into some questions. Pat, how you doing on time tonight?
We're good. We have another 15 minutes if that's okay.
Perfect. Works for me. All right. So Cindy says, what about Facebook groups? What are your opinions on those for community building?
Ooh, I'm a big fan of Facebook groups, more than a page, and then more than your just public profile. Facebook has given a lot of weight recently to Facebook groups, just algorithm wise. And I've even seen Facebook groups commercials on TV recently. And typically that's a good sign that that's where they're putting a lot of effort and money into. We saw it once with Facebook Live. We started to see a lot of Facebook Live commercials. And then now it's been Facebook groups. And whether it's Facebook groups or LinkedIn groups or Mighty Networks, which is like the latest sort of thing that you can create your own sort of Facebook group style thing that you own yourself. I think it's a fantastic thing because what you're doing is you're bringing people together and allowing for conversation to happen where they can't get anywhere else. And that's kind of the environment you want to create. And Facebook groups are amazing, especially because, it's an easy way for people to find other people just like them. And when people come for the content, right? So if you have a membership, they might just come and get excited for the content. They might find you and be a casual audience member or even an active audience member because of the content that you create. But then they stay for the community. And it's your own community members who will help those community members sometimes more than you can. And so it's a great way to sort of even have and find super users in your business because even Facebook will tell you, this person is a conversation starter. This person is a great question asker. This person, whatever. And they will even tell you who you should be paying attention to, pay attention to a little bit more too. And then you can connect with them offline and even send them a quick thank you video. Thanks for being involved in the community. By the way, would you want to be a moderator and help reduce some of the spam in here for us? I would love for you to do that. And of course, they're going to feel empowered. They're going to feel more involved. And when they're more involved, they're more invested. You ask them to come and volunteer at your event. I mean, these guys become your super fans in a way that no others can, because they actually feel like they're a part of something. So yeah, big fan of Facebook groups.
And moderating more than one group, should you have groups for certain parts of your business or all in one? What's your advice on that?
I would have a main one to sort of be like a capture all. I have one of those as well. And it has currently 40,000 people in it, which is kind of insane, but it's still being able to be managed because we have promoted a number of the users in there to be sort of like, patrol and to engage and make sure people never let anybody go unanswered, which is really good, really great. But I do have smaller communities for specific reasons. Sometimes I'll run like an email marketing challenge, and I'll create a little pop-up Facebook group for a brief moment in time to just mobilize those people, get people to connect with each other who are about a very specific time-sensitive based thing. I'll have a Facebook group about my event, which is really great. So people who are there, they have a shared experience. I would say, create Facebook groups for anybody who has a shared experience, and there could be one for your general brand, but maybe there's a second group for some other specialized area of or within your business, and I think that maybe even as your business grows even more, you can have other members of the community create the Facebook group and be sort of the creator there and mobilize it. For example, I know I've had people who in my audience were asking for, hey, can we create a Facebook group just for people who have kids? Because we all have the same set of issues, right? Who we just don't have time, and we have crazy kids running around. How do I film video with kids in the house? Like, it'd be great to sort of just all be in one spot and all speak the same language. So you kind of have to balance and make sure that you can still offer time or care when you have these groups. Because I know some people who have 40 groups, and they're just like, 2 of them are taking care of, the rest are kind of left hanging. So
yeah, I love that. If you're going to commit to it, commit to those people, because when you show up, they show up, right? Like, we need to give first before we're even asking for in return. What's your opinion on Patreon, the YouTube membership groups, those type of groups that aren't necessarily free groups, that aren't tied to maybe training or content or things like that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge fan of them. I don't have them in my own business model, but I know a lot of podcasters who are making a living by allowing for their fans to support them. It's like PBS, right? Like, PBS has survived years on television because of it's paid for by viewers like you, as they say. And it's because you support the community, you support the vision, you support the brand. And I think that that's a really smart thing to do, because what you're doing is you're allowing for those who want to pay you back a way to pay you back. It's also great because you can even position it as like, hey, this is how I support you, the business, and how I keep showing up. Thank you to all the patrons. And this keeps the videos ad free, right? And it helps things, all that sort of stuff. So I'm a huge fan of it. And I think that if you select that, really going over the top with delivering for your patrons or for your members is the answer to continuing to grow that and to feel like there's a reason to keep doing it. Because I know a lot of people who create those and they have like 5 patrons and you're just not motivated. I think you have to really step into it and commit to it if you're going to do it, but then over deliver, and you're going to find it's going to be very successful at supporting you.
Very cool. Dr. K says, that was a weird comment to you. Sorry, Pat. I was like reading at the same time, so I was trying to come up with something to say. That's the weirdness of who I am. All right. So Dr. K says, with a small community, would it be okay to have a public Facebook group and then a paid membership site that has an insiders Facebook group as well? Would that segment the audience? Would it be too small? What's your opinion on that?
I think as long as you clearly define, because I think it's okay from a creator point of view. Like, absolutely, it makes complete sense to have like a public facing group, and every once in a while you might share like a success story of one of your insiders. You can go, hey, we have this insider group as well where these amazing transformations are happening. Why don't you join the community, become a member, and you can get access to that too, where we do these things a little bit more regularly. I show up live there. I don't show up live here. This is more a public facing group for you all to support each other. That makes complete sense to me. Where it might get a little hazy is if you have a person who's a member of both. And I think you have to have like very clear expectations for where a person should be spending their time, because the last thing we want to do is give our audience like 5 different places to be and confuse the heck out of them. I think that the more simple we can make it for our customers and our community, the better. And so that's the only worry that I have, but I think that's really smart. And even with a small group, that's okay, because the smaller the group, the more love you can give them, right? Especially in that inner circle. You can communicate with them more, and there'd probably be less expectation for a ton of activity, and it's probably better that way. But I do think that some regularity in that group is going to be more important than the other one.
Yeah. And we actually don't have a public Facebook group right now. We do everything in the comments of YouTube or just on social. So you've already sparked an idea for me about how we can even bring our community together. So thank you for that.
Right. And then you can say, like, I'm not active in this group. It's just for the community to connect with each other. I'm active in this group, but this you can only get access to it in this way.
Yeah. Yeah. Really smart. All right. Better with Improv says, I mentioned being friends with your customers. He likes that. The idea of building my business on a true fan can seem a bit insincere though. How do we stay genuine and promote and grow our business at the same time?
Yeah. I mean, that's a great question. I think it involves a mental shift in why you're doing what you're doing. Right. And that language was really interesting that you just said, like, what did you say? Building a business, something of like.
Yeah. Can you stay genuine, but promote and grow your business at the same time?
Yeah. I mean, if you're serving your audience and you ask your fans what they need and you deliver for them, I mean, you can't get more authentic than that. It's when you take advantage of them. It's when you use and I talk about this at the end of the book, actually, a lot of the pitfalls of people who have built fans. A lot of times people who build fans get sort of big-headed, and they think they rule the world now, and they sort of offer things that isn't actually helpful for their audience anymore, but they claim it is because they're taking advantage of the trust that they've earned with that audience. I think you want to build for your true fans, not on the backs of them, if that makes sense, going to the language that you had mentioned earlier in that question. So really it always comes down to, how are you being directed for your decisions? If it's the fans that are helping guide where and what you should do with your energy, then it's always going to be successful, right? It's always going to work. And the cool thing is, especially when it comes to building businesses, I know I had some struggles in the beginning with selling. I felt like selling was bad. I thought that you couldn't serve and sell at the same time. But I had come to find out that by selling things, I'm actually helping more people. It might sound kind of counterintuitive, but I'll tell you, with my podcasting course, for example, people pay and they invest money in the course, but mostly in themselves. And because they have invested, they're more likely to take action. They're more likely to do it and then finally get the results that I've promised them with that course. And I think that's really important. If you can help people get results, then you absolutely should be getting paid for that. And people will be happy to pay you for that, because what if they didn't, right? That's what life would be like if you weren't able to help them. If Yoda didn't exist, Luke Skywalker would be nothing. And I think that you have to realize that you also have value to offer. And as long as you are always staying true to what your audience wants and what they've been asking for, then you can't lose at all.
Yeah. One of our mutual friends, Shalene Johnson, she really taught me that too, of the idea that, like, sometimes if it's free, people don't value it. And so it really just I want to emphasize so much that, like you said, Pat, you have value, and that what you're creating has value also. So I love that.
Right. Right. And if you're selling stuff and you're worried about what others will say, I mean, as long as you're not taking anything away from what people were used to getting, then you'll be fine. You're just adding on something for those who want to invest and go deeper with you. And that was a big mental shift for me, because I had given away so much free information for the first 6 years of my business, and I was making money through affiliate marketing. I wasn't making any money from my own products. I didn't create an online course until well into my journey. And I was so worried that when I was going to sell my online course, that people would hate me for it. They're like, oh, Pat's finally sold out. He's finally asking us to pay for something. But the truth is, I never took anything away after I started selling it. I added this on top of what I was doing for those who wanted to go deeper. And I knew that by asking people to invest in themselves and into the course and knowing the results they can get on the other end, it was just, complete win for everybody.
All right. Last question fired at you, Pat. And then I want to just send you off with a really good tip for everyone. But what would you say if someone's just barely starting out? Melody says she's just starting. She actually doesn't have an audience yet. What is a great tip for where she can go and find her audience?
Yeah. So I think number one, you have to realize who it is that you want to help. Number one, like, who is that person and what is that target market, and really go deep into what their problems, pains, needs, issues, wants are. And you can actually go and find a lot of conversations that are already happening online for different groups of people in groups and in forums and on Google and on answerthepublic.com and many other places, Quora, just to kind of get a feel for who those people are and what they need help with. And then from there, what I would do is I would try to give a result to one person, meaning in not even building a website, not even automating anything. Just if you see a problem and you can help them solve that problem, and it's going to be a manual way at first, but that result that you get is going to prove to you that, number one, there are people out there who need this help to begin with. Number two, it's going to help you understand how to help people and what language to use and what exactly they need. And number three, it's going to give you the confidence that you can actually do this too. Well, then, and number four, you also have a testimonial from somebody who got a result thanks to you, whether that means coaching, whether that means just a recommendation for a product that already exists, whether that means, creating a new product or something else, mentorship, whatever. Those little micro tests that you do in that beginning journey are going to be really influential in the direction that you take. Because here's what a lot of people do. They go, oh, I'm going to potentially target that audience. I'm going to create a product. I'm going to spend years on it, and I'm going to develop it and spend a lot of money on it, and then I'm going to sell it, and it's going to be great. And then they do this, and they're expecting thousands of people to come in on day one, and then nobody comes. Well, if only you had tested this and tried it and see what you like, see what they like, see what is out there, see how it's going to differentiate itself, you're just going to be in a much better place. And so find one customer, give them one result. That, like, let's just simplify this. And where there is one, there's also many, many more. So let's narrow it down. Let's find one. And because the truth is, if you're struggling with finding one, you're going to struggle to find 1,000, right? So let's start with one. Let's hone in on that positioning and on that message and what their pains and problems are, the lyrics that they would respond to. And let's just over deliver for that one person, because that's going to give you the confidence to go out and help everybody else.
Wow. I said last question, but this one's so good. What about the introverts, Pat? The introverts where this is a new thing, they're okay making videos, but now like talking to people and coming out of their shell and hosting these meetups and doing those things. What advice do you have to the introverts of our community?
Yeah. By the way, I'm also an introvert myself. Yet, and I have this, like, people suck energy from me, right? That's not a bad thing. That's just how I am built. When I'm with people, it takes so much energy and stepping out of my comfort zone to do that. And my way of recharging is to be alone in the hotel room watching, Stranger Things or whatever. Other people who are extroverts, it's the opposite, right? They get energy from people, and they are, they have less energy when they're by themselves, right? So for us introverts out there, really, it's like, and that's okay that you're an introvert. I mean, that's a superpower in and of itself. But I think what you have to understand is why you're going to do what you're going to do. If you wanted to build something successful, would it not make sense to actually have real life conversations with people? The other thing is, well, what's the worst that can happen? If you ask somebody to have a conversation, they would just say no, right? But what's the best thing that can happen? You're going to understand more about them. You're going to learn about their problems. You're going to understand the lyrics. You're going to be able to create a solution and follow up with them later and all these kinds of things. And I'll tell you, like, the analogy I like to use is like, we're on a boat, right? Like a little dinghy boat. And our audience is in the ocean. They're drowning, right? They need our help. Are you going to look at them in the water and go, I'm too shy to help you? What? Are you going to look at them and go, no, I'm a little scared. The water might be a little cold. No, you are going to, like, go out of your way to help that person, because these people on the other end of our subscriber count on our email list, these are real human beings who need help or who need to feel like they belong to something. And it's your job to do that, right? For those of you worried about perfectionism, are you worried about on that boat, like, oh no, I can't, because when I lean over, the boat's going to tip and I like it when it's straight? No. Are you going to tell that person who's drowning, no, I'm scared of the water, there's sharks in there? No, you're going to help them like a good human being would. And unfortunately, because we're online, we think it's different than real life. Online is real life. And it gives us the ability with these tools to help people even faster. But like I said earlier, and like we talked about, it's actually putting us further apart. So let's use these tools that we do have access to help that person who's drowning on the other end.
Wow, Pat. So in Inner Circle, we have what's called the hashtag action takers. So as our guest today, what is one action you would want to see Inner Circle make within the next 30 days in their business, with their super fans, in life? Throw it at us.
here it is, and I've already demoed it for you, so I'm not going to demo it again. But I want you to grab your device and tomorrow, or hopefully a few times within the next 30 days, send these little quick personal video messages out of nowhere to your tribe. And I promise you, they will be blown away and you will be blown away. And you're going to see just how easy this is to do. So I would just challenge you to do it with one person. Or maybe a group of 10 within the next 15 minutes after this call. I mean, it's not hard at all. And it'll feel really good when you get those replies on the other end. I promise you.
Well, thank you so much, Pat, for all of the energy, all of the fire. I took so many notes, like I said. Inner Circle, yes, that is the best. I need one of those now. Sean's gonna get one, and then I'll just ask him for his old one. And wow, thank you so much, Pat. Thank you for I just want to honor you as a creator and as an entrepreneur and as a father and as a husband for just the good that you're putting in the world. You know, here at Think Media, I mean, we have such aligned values with you and your team. And for us, it means so much that you're putting light into the world, that you are helping people in their own lives and their own businesses just by sharing your own experience and by being real and who you are and true to who you are impacting millions. And so we just want to honor you and say thank you for bringing yourself tonight. I know this probably took time away from your family, and so thank you for that. And guys, we will get you all of the info for Pat, for everything he mentioned, all the websites he mentions, the book he mentioned, all inside of your Inner Circle portal. So you'll have all that as well as this replay. So if you're watching on the replay and you have a question for Pat, go ahead and leave it down below. We'll send it to his team and maybe it could be something he could answer later. So thank you so much, Pat. I'll let you sign off. Inner Circle, I'm going to stay on for about 20 more minutes answering some questions. And thank you so much, Pat, for being here tonight.
Thank you, everybody. I appreciate you. See you soon.
Bye. All right, Inner Circle. Yes, I know, like prayer hands, ultra human. That was such a great Inner Circle session. And guys, if you have additional questions that you'd like to ask me, I'm here for you. I want to answer some of your questions that have been coming in over the last, hour or so that we've been here. So I'm going to just jump right in. Melissa's over in the chat, also from the Think Media team, and she's collecting those questions for me. And this will also be in your membership area. So you'll have these Q&A questions available. So Kenyon and Michelle said, we're sharing our story on how we saved our marriage from divorce. How do we find our tribe? Those looking for our content. Wow, that's a really great question. And I would really look into the type of content that you're creating. Are you doing educational content? Are you sharing your, I know you're sharing your story, but are you sharing advice, tips? Like, are you trying to meet someone at their problem, or are you trying to join a community of people who are in the process already of saving their marriage? So I would really look at, what type of community you want to go to through things like, what are some blog posts or blogs that are out there? And what are some blog posts that are really popular and the community down below there? I would look and see, are there Facebook groups? Are there other YouTube channels? Are people buying certain books? Like, are people reading certain articles online that you can then join the conversation? And through that, you'll start to see where those people are. So if you're sharing your journey, then where were you before your journey? Like what was the spark that made that happen so that you wanted to jump into saving your marriage? And maybe your community is there as well. So I hope that helped you out. And I am reading over here on the chat. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Potato Wisdom. We've got Cindy in the house, Ultra Human. Melody's here. Thank you for being here. Oksana's here. Marissa's here. We've got Mary's here. Simple Sherry's here. Keith is in the house. We've got Andy here. Wow, guys, it's like Growth Video Live all over again. And I'm loving it in the chat. All right, let's see. Potato Wisdom. Do you let your super fans come up with their name organically or ask them to come up with a name? I feel weird about even calling anyone my fan. I completely agree with you, Potato Wisdom. I think that it is the idea of fandom is actually just a mindset. And so I would just say, switch your mindset. Here in Inner Circle, we're called the IC crew. Inside of our course Video Ranking Academy, we call them the VRA fam. We've got the Think Media team. I mean, we just kind of use these different terms, and you can make it a challenge if you want to. You can say, hey guys, I want to name us. I want to name this tribe. I want to name this movement, and definitely ask them. And it doesn't have to be something that you start with right away. It could be something that, over the course of you starting to create things, you'll start to see this group, and you can then name the group. So for us, we didn't have Video Ranking Academy named VRA Fam until a few months in. And then we just started to call ourselves a family, because one of our values here at Think Media is a family. And even on Think Media itself, like the big channel that Sean created, that channel doesn't necessarily have its own name to it. We don't call people like thinkers or anything like that. So challenge out to you, Inner Circle, if you're part of the Think Media community, what should we call ourselves? Over on Video Influencers, the channel that Sean and Benji co-created, they're called influencers. They just use the word influencers to name their tribe. So and there is a book called Seth Godin's book called Tribes. It's right up here underneath my camera right there. So we'll put that in the comments. That's a great book to read about tribes, your people and what that looks like. So really, really great question. All righty. Ultra Human, what do you think? Oh, we already answered that one. What do you think about the YouTube membership groups? Already answered that one for you. And let's see, I'm just scrolling through here. Melody, Heather, I've been working on books to help my students in school with their reading and writing, specifically students that don't like reading and writing. I'm a first grade teacher. Amazing. That is, I love teachers. I love teachers. So I want to just say, keep going. Mary says from Maximalist Minibus. Mary, I always mess that one up, but I love the name of your channel. I always do custom thumbnails. When my computer got stolen, I couldn't. Oh, Mary, I'm so sorry about that. My click-through rate went through the roof by comparison on that one. Thinking of not doing customs. What do you think about that? I think that's great. You're doing actually what we're teaching. You want to test different things and then evaluate that. Look at the analytics. And so then maybe, Mary, test a few more in that way. Maybe you don't actually have like full custom thumbnails. Maybe it's just a snapshot from the actual video that you're doing is what I'm assuming happened. And so you would just actually use that and then compare that to other videos that you have out. So that's a really great thing. And Mary, you have access to YouTube Hypergrowth Blueprint, which is one of the courses we have here at Think Media that is deep in the analytics of how to look at those things. So if you want to go deeper in analytics, that would be where that is. And Inner Circle, you guys do get 10% off of all of our courses. So if you need that code, you can email us at hello@seancandle.com and we can get you taken care of. All right. Let's see. Better with improv to combine today and yesterday. Should I offer something for being in the first 100 or 200 tribe members, some lifetime distinction or reward? Well, that's a really great question. I think that, if the answer I think is yes, if you would like to, because here's the thing, you get to do it. Like you get to choose what you want to do. So if you'd like to incentivize people to be in that, I think that's a great idea. Following through on that, maybe it's the first 100 people get to do a group coaching call with you, or they get to be a part of something at a deeper level. I think that's a really, really smart idea. So I would say absolutely. And, test it out. Maybe it is something that you just test and you say, hey, actually for the first 20 people, and then 20 people do it. And then you say for the first 50 people, or, you can figure out how you would like to do that. All right. Andy said, hey, Heather, I'm starting a home security channel. Any advice? Andy, so many pieces of advice. First, go to Think Media and watch the videos we have on getting your first 100 subscribers. We'll link that video. Then we have a video called Getting Your First 1,000 Subscribers. We'll link that video. And then, Andy, I would say jump into Video Ranking Academy, jump into Inner Circle. Those are going to be the ways that you can really start to advance your channel. All right, Maximus, Mary, thanks for asking the questions tonight. I really love this. All right. Mary says, do you guys use or know anything about YouTube channel memberships? Oh, great. Great thing you asked, Mary. We at Think Media, we have not tested that out yet because we already have Inner Circle as a membership. We already have Video Ranking Academy as a course, and we really want to serve that audience right now. However, Sean and Benji Travis over on Video Influencers, they have created a mini course for their book, YouTube Secrets. And beyond that mini course, there's no other membership site. And so one of the things that they're testing over on Video Influencers is actually the YouTube membership. So if you give us a few months, we'll have some data on that. We'll help you guys out. But here's the thing. It's another great way for you to go deeper with your audience. And the YouTube membership site, if I'm not mistaken, let me know, Inner Circle. I think this is correct that Patreon and YouTube are together. Is that how that formed? But either way, thinking that, this is just another way for you to go deeper with your audience. This is an easy way to monetize your channel. This is an easy way to go deeper with the super fans that are there and want to help support you and be with you on that. So I would say, if it's something that you have people that would love to join, then definitely, if that works into your business model, put that in. But let me tell you, Inner Circle, the reason that Think Media is not doing it yet is because a few months back, we taught about the opportunity evaluation formula. Because remember, as entrepreneurs, there's always shiny objects, right? Oh, let's do that. Oh, this is new. Oh, let's try this. And so what we have to do is we have to put that opportunity on the table, and we have to say, how much time is this going to take? How much effort is this going to take? How much investment is this going to take? What is this withdrawal from the other parts of my business? Because remember, whatever you say yes to in your business, you're saying no to something else. Whenever you say yes to something new in your business, you are saying no to something else. And so when you look at something like YouTube membership or a membership in general, you need to think about the long game of that. If you are promising that you're going to show up for people and people are paying you to show up, you got to show up, And so when you think about, yes, that is a great option for a business model, but really understanding, is this what I need to be working on right now in my business? Is this something that is going to take away from what I've already started? I saw on there, Dawn said, finish that bridge. That is so right. Have you already finished the course? Have you already finished the product that you wanted to launch? Have you already finished really getting established in your one video a week on YouTube? So if yes to those things, and you're like, no, I really want my business model to be all wrapped inside of that platform, then that's great. Now, here's something to think about, and I'm not sure on this, so I will do an update inside of Inner Circle. I don't know if you can, if you have access to their information to be able to have a relationship with them off of YouTube. Okay, so let me talk you through that. On here inside of Inner Circle, you have given us your email address so we can personally email you and let you know when updates are happening and things like that. Now, I don't know because I've not looked into it, but I would want to know, are you able to then get their information so that you can have a personal connection with them outside of YouTube? Because remember, Inner Circle, we don't own YouTube. We do not own Instagram. We do not own Facebook. That's why we want you building that email list. Did you hear that? Pat Flynn earlier said he has 250,000 people on his email list. That is incredible. That is an asset that he can then point, like Sean says all the time, point his Death Star at when he has got something new happening, when he wants to share new information, when he wants to bring value. He can do that in his own way in email and be able to help people off of the platform. So I would say just make sure that you really evaluate that before committing to it. Anyone that's doing that inside of Inner Circle, if you are looking at a membership site or a course, would you be willing to do it for one person? Like if you thought about that, is this something that I'm willing to do if only one person was in it for the entire year? Is this something I'm willing to promote Do you feel comfortable selling this? Do you feel comfortable promoting this on social media and to your community and on YouTube and in all of the places? Do you feel comfortable promoting this on a regular basis to have a membership site be successful? So, with Inner Circle, we've had Inner Circle now for almost 2 years. We've been in beta for almost 2 years because we really wanted to hone in on what was working, what wasn't working. We wanted to get success stories from our amazing students. We wanted to hear you and the success that you're having from Inner Circle and from hyper growth and just from learning these tactics that we've done to build, business. And so, these are things that are critical to think about when you are starting off a membership site. All right, let's see what else we have, Melissa, over on the page. Shimply Sherry says, I changed to being a travel influencer in June. Yes, I remember you telling us about that, Sherry. So I'm really excited for you. I know who my super fans were from my previous niche. Do I focus on my content and my new super fans will be built up? Yes. And because you did pivot, there may be a lull time in super fans because you have people who were super fans and maybe slightly confused if you're doing it on the same channel or even on like social media. Like sometimes I am known for homeschooling that like on social media, that's what people are like, oh, I need to learn how to homeschool. And people will send them to me and they're like, hey, my friend so-and-so is going to contact you because she said she wants to homeschool and you're the only homeschooler I know. So I put a lot of content out on Instagram about homeschooling. Now I also work here at Think Media. And so when we're doing events like Growth Video Live, I'm putting more information about that out there. And my audience is like, what are you doing? Why do I care about this live event for video people? Like that's basically the type of DMs that I get. And so if you are fully pivoting on social and you're fully pivoting in your business, you will have a possible lull time for that to just ramp back up. But I don't want it to discourage you. I want you to move forward. I want you to know this is what I think about all the time. My people are out there. I just need to find them. You're out there. You were drawn to Sean. You were drawn to Think Media. You were drawn in because you had a problem. And so I always reframe it. And instead of saying like, oh, I live in lack, like I don't have enough, or we don't have enough, or I don't have enough followers, or I don't have this. I reframe that right away. And I'm like, no, they're out there. There's like 7 billion people. I don't know if that's in the world. I don't have the stats in front of me, but there's like so many people. And we just did Growth Video Live. Like half of them are on the internet. So our people are out there. My homeschool mamas, they are out there. There's new families that want to come in all the time into understanding my world of homeschooling. And then for Think Media, there's people out there that are wanting to leave their 9 to 5. They're wanting to figure out how can they be creative and make a living on their own. And so just reframing that is a huge success. So Sherry, I just want to just build your confidence, girl. You've got this. You have the path that you want to create. And so just keep one foot in front of the other. That's what's going to get you there. And when you feel that lack and that confidence, remember what we talked about at Growth Video Live. You're not alone. Everyone feels like this, right? Everyone goes through those times where it can be hard and discouraging because you were doing one thing and now you're doing another thing. But 3 years from now, you're going to look back and there's going to be so much progress that's happened because you just put one foot in front of the other. All right, guys, you guys getting value out of this tonight. If you are, go ahead and let me know in the chat. And if you're watching in the replay, thank you so much for being a part of Inner Circle and for being here and for tuning in either on the car ride. If you're driving in the car, I've heard people of listening to this in the car, which I think is rad. And let's move on to the next question. Oxy says, am I saying that right? I hope I'm saying it correctly. Oxy, is it okay to create an email list without sending emails until I figure out my specific niche? Really great question. So yes, it's okay to create it, but I would want to know what the value proposition is for why you are creating that email list. And here's the reason. There's twofold with email lists. The first is you want quality people on your email list. That's why at Think Media, we do not buy email lists. We do not subscribe to that idea of like just getting email lists, just have, I mean, if you want to, you could go out right now and buy 1 million emails. You could do that on like the black market of the web. And I don't really know, it's probably not even the black market of the web. It's probably like literally on a website. You could probably do that, which is sad because it's the same as subscribers. I would rather have 100 qualified, super awesome subscribers who love my content than 1 million that don't watch, because that's just a vanity number then. So if you are creating an email list, here's what I want you to think about. Who do I want on that list? Who's the, like, we don't want everyone on the Think Media list. And in fact, we clean out the unopened emails every 6 months here at Think Media. We just go, like, if you haven't opened an email from us at all in the last year, well, one, we download those. And then two, that we download them so we always know who has been in our world, because people come back to our world. But I digress. Here you go. You want quality people on your list. So when you think about it, number one, who do you want on your list? You don't want everyone, because number two, a big part of emails is your open rate, your deliverability, and your open rate as an email sender is really important. Now, industry standards are all different, but I mean, if you're getting anywhere around a 25 to 20% open rate right now in this like world of digital, that's really good. But at the same time, if you're just putting people on your list just to put them on your list, and then you don't send anything, and then you finally send something and no one opens it, well, that's kind of like two docs against you, you know? So before you get started on your email list, Oxy, I want you to think about this. What's your niche? Girl, that's what you got to figure out. Let's just hold up. Let's just take a step back. Okay. Let's take a step back. You're thinking about email lists, and you actually need to be thinking about your niche. Do you hear me? This is me. I'm just coaching you. You are thinking about your email list. You're thinking about your YouTube channel and your email list and all that thing. You got to nail down your niche. Now, it doesn't have to be the exact thing, but like, what's the North Star? You know, like if you're shooting for the moon, what's the moon look like? You know, who's in that niche? Who's your target audience? And you have Grow with Video, the digital course, as one of your bonuses. So I highly recommend going through there and going through that clarity worksheet. And Mel, can we just include the clarity worksheet for everyone so that they can get that and really walk through that clarity worksheet. But Oxy, I want you to figure out your niche. I'm challenging you, because before you do your email list, before you do your YouTube channel 100%, and I actually think you have one. I follow you on Instagram. Like, you are very much about like health and wellness and travel. It's figuring out what does that look like for you, your specific voice into those areas, and who do you want to impact? When you know your who, then you just got to figure out your how. When you know who you want to help, that's when you can start creating an email list and just sending out one value email a week, like Dr. K did and said inside Inner Circle as his success. So hope that helps you out. I hope you're feeling me just coaching you right here, you know, just giving you that little bit. All right, let's see what else we have. Okay, Kenyon and Michelle said, should we be using the discussion tab? Do you have a video on using this tool? We don't have anything specific video-wise at Think Media, but if you have the opportunity to have the community tab, it's another great way to be able to talk to your community. The way we use it here at Think Media is, let me show you actually. Let me just pull this up and I can share my screen and show you what that looks like. Think Media. Okay. I'm ready for some fire here. Okay. All right. Here's that video I was talking about. It's right here on our homepage. Take note, Inner Circle. We put one of our videos of one of the biggest questions right on the homepage. All right. On our community tab, which I think is what you're talking about on this question, we do a couple things. One, square video or square image or GIFs, which you can create. Mel, if you can put the URL to the website that we use to create GIFs. Are they GIFs or GIFs? Darn it. I always mess that one up. Oh, well. And we right now, we're using it to send people to other YouTube channels. We ask this question almost once a week now. How can I help you today? 146 responses on here. And you'll notice we went through, if this will load, we went through, I don't know if that's going to load. Oh man, here we go. 146 comments. We went through and we like, look at this. Wish me a happy birthday. Happy birthday. Just like Pat Flynn was just teaching, right? Going deeper with every person. You can't automate this. This is us, human to human. How do I gain subscribers? Look what we did. We didn't send them into our funnel. Well, technically we did, because this is a video that leads into a funnel that leads into our course. But you got to spend like 2 hours with us before we even tell you that we offer a course. Because David here is asking, how do I get subscribers? Down here, have you seen this video? Tips for the right music. This sends right into royalty free. Again, this video is going to have, what's it called? Affiliates in it. We just set up for affiliates, but here's just how we're using it. You know, we're talking about, the people that are coming. We're promoting a free masterclass. We use it. We took a screenshot of like one of our viral tweets. We put it on there, you know, so we're just using it as a way to talk to this community. Remember, people are on the platform because they like that platform. Let's just keep that in mind, Inner Circle. Remember, people are on the platform they like. And so we, as the content creators, as the business owners, as the video marketers, our job is to meet them where they are. Our job is to bring the content to them where they are. You know, when people say, Heather, how do I grow my Instagram? The advice that Sean and I give all the time is grow your or how do I grow my YouTube channel with my Instagram? The advice that we give is grow your Instagram on Instagram, grow your YouTube channel on YouTube. I just totally butchered that, but I hope you understand what I'm saying. That meet them where they are. That is something that Pat Flynn was just saying. That's something I'm just going to resonate with, because it is so important to meet people where they are. All right, guys, I'm going to take, let's see. I'm going to take one more question. What are my questions at? Okay, here we go. All right, let's see. I'm looking in here to what is happening. Ken and Michelle, you only have 120 subs, so maybe we need more for the community tab. You might. I actually don't know what the policy is on that. I should look that up, and I'll have that for you guys, and we'll let you guys know. But maybe that function isn't quite there yet. So goal for you, Michelle and Kenyon, goal is get enough subscribers to get there, right? Open up that community tab. I think it's 10,000 from what I'm thinking right now. All right, Inner Circle, action takers. Here's what you need. Here's what you need. Pat Flynn initiated the challenge. He initiated the Action Takers Challenge, which is grab your phone and send a video message to, what did he say? 10 new followers that you have. Let's just like one. Let's start with one. And then let's do 10. And then let's continue to do it week after week, because this is what's going to build your business. Here at Inner Circle, we know that your heart is to help people in anything that you're doing, right? Like your heart is to impact the world. We know that you are a leader. And so we want to help you get there. But one of the ways we can help you get there is by issuing these challenges. And so your Action Takers Challenge inside of the Inner Circle is to grab your phone. And then once you do it, share that success with us inside the Inner Circle Facebook group. We are so pumped because we have Lauren in there now, who, if you met her at Growth Video Live, she is a firecracker. She's our new customer relations manager here at Think Media. We have Melissa, who's inside there, who's now our newest Think Media master coaches. Myself, I'm in there. Sean's in there. We are here to serve you and to help you. We're inside the membership area for you. And so I am fired up and ready to see your challenges being done. So here's the challenge. Who's going to do it first? Who is going to do it first, Inner Circle? I know I've got some Enneagram 3s in the group just like me. So I know that if you're anything like me, you're grabbing your phone probably right now and you're going to take that challenge and meet us inside of the Inner Circle Facebook group. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me on my first interview with someone for Inner Circle. I'm just so grateful that you are here, and you can catch this in the membership area. And remember, yesterday we had Mitch Jackson, the streaming lawyer, inside of the Facebook group, bringing some value when it comes to how to cover your ass online. Yes, I didn't say it as cool as Sean, but that is what he was helping us with. It was a amazing session. And so if you did not get to see that, check your emails. That's where we're communicating with you. And we'll see you inside the members area. Bye, Inner Circle.